how have you been? How's Moscow?
Yeah, Moscow's been great. I got in, I guess, two nights ago, and then yesterday we did some tourism with the other speakers.
Okay. Isn't it cold already?
Oh my gosh, it's freezing. Well, I'm from Texas. Yeah, I brought extra jackets and extra shirts, and it's so cold.
Okay. Hope you won't get sick.
No.
All right. So how's the conference going? Has the conference met your expectations so far?
Yes, somebody just handed me a giant thing of cotton candy and I wasn't expecting it, so that's exceeding expectations. But yeah, everyone was, so immediately after my talk, people ask questions, and at most conferences, the questions they ask are awful. And the questions I think were really good, and I think actually added on to what I was trying to say. So I really appreciated that, and I find that a lot of the developers are come up to me and have more good questions afterwards and good conversation.
Your report in a nutshell. What's about threads?
Yes.
Yeah.
So threads aren't evil.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
End of talk. I think Ruby developers are very afraid of threads, and they don't understand what a thread is. And so I wanted to explain the background of threads and show some cases where we can use threads, and so it's not as scary.
Yeah, and is it possible to make the usage of threads easier to the developers? Because I've heard that it's very complicated. That's why they're afraid of it.
So the best ways that I've seen to make it easier are through patterns. I think that it is possible to make it, if you do too much, like threads are so simple, if you do too much on top of a thread, then it's no longer a thread. And for example, the guilds is being proposed, and that is supposed to be easier. And Koichi is very interested in making a very easy to use case, but unfortunately, if you're going to use threads, it's going to be difficult. So yes, they're not evil, but they are hard.
What about the programming world in the future? Like in 10 years or 50 years, how can you see it? How can you describe it?
Brain implants, I think, and we just think of what we want to happen, and then it just works.
And is there a place for Ruby?
Is there a place for Ruby? So this is a very difficult question, I think, because so I've been programming in Ruby for 10 years, and when I first started, Rails had just come out, and it was Rails 0.9, and everybody was so excited. And I think Rails now is very mature, and people ask, well, and to me that's really good, because to me that means I can be productive, and when people add new features, it's not a big new feature, but it's a useful new feature, and so I'm really excited about that. So I think Ruby is a really good intersection of usability and I think it's getting faster. I think that the core team, that is like one of their #1 goals is.
All right, so that's a positive view. Right?
Yes.
Nowadays, the work of the job of the developer is becoming more and more popular. Like there are plenty of them out there, and what do you have to do to stand out of this crowd, to do something really outstanding and great? Do you have some advice for like a lot of people out there?
If you want to stand out in a crowd, wear a big hat.
Cool.
It's my best advice. I think I've always tried to have a large impact. So I picked up maintainership of Sprockets because a lot of people were using it, and that was a need in the community. And that's what I've been mostly interested in. And then I also think making sure to get out and speak to people, going to conferences. I've gotten a tremendous amount of good feedback writing blog posts. I'm trying to write 1 blog post a week. It's not happening this week, I'm sorry. I'm in Russia. I'm enjoying the sites.
Or is it just like a task and money?
Oh no.
That's not about you.
No, I like getting paid. I like money. I mostly like I don't have any ads or anything on my blog. I like sharing. I like sharing what I learned when I learned how to program. I learned from so many different people, and they were just sharing what they knew, and so I want to now share what I know, and it actually ends up paying back to me because sometimes I post and I say, hey, here's how I did something, and people will reach out and say, oh, I've got a better way, and so it's very rewarding to me in that way.
Have you ever thought about writing a book or something like that to share your experience? If you haven't or have, what it would be about and like the name of the book?
Oh, programming isn't evil, maybe? I don't know. So I co-authored an O'Reilly book about Heroku. I don't know if that counts, but yeah,
I think it does.
Okay, good. Yes, I've written a book. I've written half of a book. I would like to, but I don't necessarily know what people want to hear about. I think some of my most popular posts, some of my most popular blog posts are about a service I run called CodeTriage.com, and they're very interested in things like, how does the service work? How is it run? How do I get new users? They're also interested in things like technical problems, like I did this and it was wrong, and here's how you can learn from me. And so I think that's really interesting, and it could be neat to package all of that up in a book and say, it's kind of a half technical, half non-technical.
Programming is not evil.
Yeah, maybe.
And every person, every professional has its nightmare about its profession, like broken brakes when you're a taxi driver, for example. I don't know. Do you have yours?
I don't know. I think just maybe the worst that could happen is if I was just very, very adamant about a certain change and then I ignored. I'm worried that I might ignore some good feedback from someone else, and then I'm very. I don't mind being wrong, but I would be very hurt if someone had been trying to warn me to do the right thing and I just didn't listen to them at all.
Oh, that's very sentimental. Thank you. So
Yeah.
that's been amazing, and thank you.